Excuse me. Now, back to that big Victorian house, which is actually Queen Anne style architecture, but built during the Victorian age. And I mentioned the Victorian age because the owner who built that house in 1901 was Phil Markham. Now, Phil Markham was president of the Markham Air Rifle Company. The Markham Air Rifle Company, along with the Daisy Air Rifle Company here in Plymouth, produced 90% of the world's air rifles at the turn of the century. They were big business, big employers. Phil was well known around town, which worked to his advantage in one important way. He was having an affair with a young secretary at work, unbeknownst to his wife. Well, secrets don't stay secrets very long in a small community. Soon his wife, Carrie, found out, but she wouldn't divorce him. Again, during the Victorian age, public behavior was governed in a very strict fashion, and if you didn't know those standards, you sure heard about them at church on Sunday from the preacher.
Harry Lush and his wife Charlotte, they were the managers. Pretty soon they bought the theater, and they also bought the Penn Theater, had it built in 1941. Well, they took me under their wing, and they showed me the ropes. They showed me the business, and I worked really hard for them. And by the time I was 24 years of age, I was the only female general manager in southeastern Michigan. I was pretty proud of that, because I had worked really hard. And by 1950, Harry and Charlotte decided it was time to retire. They moved to California, and they sold me the Penn Theater. I was pretty excited. I did two things to the Penn when I first owned it. The first thing was to reface the front of it and put the marble that's out there now. I think it looks pretty nice, don't you? The second thing I did was add a candy counter with popcorn and soda.
Well, my family was one of those. And in 1856, my family moved here to Plymouth, and it's been my home ever since. So Plymouth is my adopted hometown. Before I moved out here, I actually had a fascination about how jewelry was made and things like that. And I actually went to school to learn how to make jewelry. And when I moved here to Plymouth, that same year was when I opened up my own jewelry store. And I actually was the town jeweler. What you'd see here is a very, very small sample of what you would have found in my store. Unlike today, when we think of a jewelry store, a lot of people think of gold and diamonds and things like that. But in my era, it was a little bit different. We were utilizing different gemstones from around the world, using silver, gold, and even some of the finest woods to make everything from pendants, brooches, rings, bracelets, you name it. You could find it in my store, or I was custom making it for you.
So finally I said to my partners, I said, fellas, I think the party's over. I got a wife and child to feed. I'm going to go back to being a druggist. They said, well, it's Irish, you got to go take a bet. So I did, I went back, got the old apron out of the attic, went back in the drugstore business, and that's where I stayed. It was back to where we started this talk. And I guess if there's anything that you can take out of this talk is that spending your life selling guns and drugs is probably not as exciting as you thought it would be. Thank you for listening.
You know, ever hear the story about an apple doesn't fall too far from the tree? Well, that was kind of the case with Winifred. Winifred married a gentleman by the name of Elmore Carney. And Mr. Carney had a optometrist business right here in town. And my grandson took it over. His name was Jim Carney. And maybe some of you even may have worked. There's somebody nodding their heads. You know who Dr. Jim Carney is? Yep, that was my grandson. And my great-grandson, Brian, He's running that business today right down Main Street. It's called Benchmark Optical, and he's running that today. So, like I said, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. They're doing all very well. Well,
I passed away just 2 days before my 100th birthday. I saw a lot of amazing things in my life. Everything from watching my beloved Detroit Tigers winning the World Series to shaking hands with 2 presidents. As a little girl, I thought Plymouth, Michigan was the most amazing place in the whole world to live, and I still do today. So thank you for coming and listening to my stories of Plymouth, Michigan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we had a beautiful theater. It seated 600 people and had a big stage and an orchestra pit and an organ. We even had a dance hall next door. We had a concessions there, and even a bowling alley. Oh, we packed them in. We also had plays there, and the first recorded play that we had was called Modes and Manners. I was very influential in getting the Marquis Theater built in Northville. You may have heard of that theater as well. So things went rather smoothly. We packed them in twice weekly. And that was till about 1922, and that's when problems started to happen. I started showing movies on Sunday night. Oh, my goodness. Then we had 2 camps in town. We had Kate Allen versus the church.
I'll tell you in just a moment. Welcome. Welcome one and all. It is absolutely wonderful to see so many of the fine citizens of Plymouth here today. It's so nice to see so many of you here this afternoon. Oh, yeah, pardon me, excuse me. I'm doing a little rearranging. Ladies and gentlemen, well, welcome to all of you. Is there anyone here planning their nuptials, planning a wedding anytime soon? I want you to know that I can provide your rooms with everything you need at the best price. There's absolutely no need to go to Northville or Ann Arbor or all the way into Detroit. Oh, well, let me tell you who I am. Excuse me. My name is William Bassett. I'm glad to meet your acquaintance. And I was born in Auburn, New York on January 8, 1824. And like many upstate New Yorkers, I came to Plymouth. I arrived here in 1856, and I owned and operated the first furniture dealership in Plymouth. My home